finish off the weekend in the last two episodes of The Last Dance. Once again, a big shout out to ESPN for getting that documentary done on Michael Jordan and those glorious Chicago Bulls teams. But it's time to open your work week with the hottest show on the streets, the best form of Alabama football news, notes, and information you will find anywhere. This right here in my own words with yours truly, your man Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, coming to you from Tuscaloosa, streaming this to you on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, go ahead right now, smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so that you can have all the updates, alerts, coverage, content on your Crimson Tide. Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on those notifications. But show bigger than me, more than me. I got the straw that stirs the drink in the production studio. My man, John Ivory. John, Mr. Maestro, how you feeling, man? How was your weekend, brother?
Man, weekend was great, man. Feeling great, ready for this show. This is going to be a good show. Y'all share the show, man. Light the chat up. Let's get it popping.
Let's get it popping indeed. He had a great weekend. I'm coming off of two birthday parties that I was able to celebrate over the weekend. But as John mentioned, we want you to be a part of the show. You can do this, 205-448-1358. The number to call in and let your voice be heard, be a part of the conversation. Move that needle, 205-448-1358. Once again, 205-448-1358. You can text with that number, leave a voicemail with that number as well, as we got a fantastic show prepared for you guys today. And we start things off with, it doesn't matter where you turn as we begin the first topic of conversation. It doesn't matter where you turn on the internet. It doesn't matter what your favorite form of social media is. The dominant topic of conversation, and it will go from the spring to the summer to fall camp to the regular season, how Nick Saban may want to play this. It's the conversation of Mac Jones and Bryce Young, the quarterback situation that is Mac Jones and Bryce Young. And Alabama has had a lot of interesting quarterback debates, quarterback conversations in the past. 2008, we all remember Greg McElroy and Star Jackson. 2009, we all remember Greg McElroy and Star Jackson. I always wonder whatever happened to Star Jackson, but it is what it is. 2014 gave us a good battle between Blake Sims and Jacob Coker. Of course, 2016 provided us with Jalen Hurts versus the field, and the leader of that field was Blake Barnett. 2018, we had Jalen Hurts versus Tua Tagovailoa and the controversy that was. But the battle that resembles the situation that we're facing now and the two competitors of Mac Jones and Bryce Young would be that 2011 matchup, or that 2011 race, that being A.J. McCarron and one Phillip Sims. And it's crazy how history tends to repeat itself. 9 years ago, social media was not as big as it is right now. Back then, Facebook was popping, Twitter was getting its legs up, you had YouTube, Instagram wasn't really conceived yet, wasn't really all that big yet, and Snapchat was not even thought of. But back then, it was more so word of mouth. It was more so newspapers. But the same type of hype that Bryce Young is getting right now, that same type of hype Phillip Sims was getting back in the prior to the 2011 season. And while 9 years ago, social media was not as big, to me, math was never my subject. I thought math was my subject back then. It never was. I was decent in science. English was pretty good, but history was my thing. I was a huge history buff here. And just reflecting back on that 2011 quarterback race, everybody was big on Phillip Sims. People talked about Phil, as you're seeing the slide here come up on screen discussing both guys, Phil and A.J. McCarron. Starting this off with Phil Phil was a highly touted 5-star out of Chesapeake, Virginia, went to Oscar F. Smith School, was 6'3", 220 pounds, a guy that, was a pro-style quarterback. The biggest difference between the situation with Mac and Bryce versus Phil and A.J. McCarron was Phil and McCarron, they were both pro-style, they were both regarded as pro-style quarterbacks. Phil, though he was mobile, though he was athletic, he could extend the play, he could move his feet. Both guys were pro-style guys. And also, prior to the start of a 2011 season, both guys at least had 1 year of knowledge within the system. McCarron came in 2009. Of course, Sims came into that 2010 class, as opposed to Mac Jones and Bryce Young. Mac was a 4-star pro-style guy. Bryce Young, a 5-star dual-threat quarterback. And Jones is entering his 4th year in the system. Bryce Young, his 1st year with the Alabama Crimson Tide under Steve Sarkisian as the offensive play caller. But, and I remember this vividly just due to 2011 was my freshman year at the University of Alabama, the fall of that year. The summer of that year, I remember going to Bama Bound. And during that time, you had 3 waves of Bama Bound sessions. You had the May wave, the June wave, and the July wave. I came in July. And it didn't matter if I was going to take my placement test. It didn't matter if I was at the pool behind the rec center. It didn't matter if I was at the quad. It didn't matter if I was at Reese Pfeiffer Hall with the Communication and Information Science Department. It didn't matter where I was in my time at Bama Bound. I always tend to find myself within the conversation of who's going to be the starting quarterback. Is it going to be Phillip Sims? Is it going to be A.J. McCarron? And you had half the students that was at Bama Bound going, man, AJ was a state champion at St. Paul Episcopal High School in Mobile. Man, AJ's a natural born leader. Man, AJ can sling that thing. Man, AJ had confidence. AJ got swagger. Did you know that AJ McCarron had a near-death experience? Ooh, but AJ battled through it. He fought through that thing. Like, AJ gonna be the man. AJ McCarron is gonna be that guy. And while you had that half saying that, the other half was like, man, bump AJ, forget him, man. He trash, man. Phillip Sims, that's the quarterback. Did you not see Phil at Oscar Smith High School over there in Virginia, man? Do you not see Phil? 6'3", 220 pounds. Bruh, that's the right-handed Michael Vick. Bruh, that is the next Vince Young, man. I saw where we being bound. We got punked out by Tim Tebow in 2008 before we got that revenge in 2009. Did you not see how Cam Newton made us look bad in 2010 when he was with Auburn doing that whole Cam back thing? I mean, I'm not an Auburn fan, but I just had to watch Cam Newton because he was out there giving people the business, giving folks the finger every single time. Like, that's the quarterback we need. We need a little razzle-dazzle. We need some fun. We need somebody who can run that thing and throw that thing and really see what's popping, really see what football is about right here. We need Phillip Sims in that thing. So it was a conversation, even with me as a Bama Bounder, between Phillip Sims and A.J. McCarron. And upon me getting to campus that year, I even took Geology 101, the study of rocks, with Phil Sims. So I had class with him, and whether it was him on the quad or him at a bar or him on the strip or him at the dining hall, it didn't matter where Phillip Sims was. He drew a crowd. He drew people. People talked up Phillip Sims. People really believed this was going to be the starting quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide prior to the 2011 season starting. And if you remember, back in the 90s, Michigan had the same situation. Lloyd Carr and the Michigan Wolverines had the same issue. They had Tom Brady and they had Drew Henson. Tom Brady was the leader and the captain of that team, but Drew Henson was the guy that, 5-star guy, can't miss kid, talented athlete, highly touted prospect, and people felt like if Michigan didn't play Drew Henson in football, they were going to lose him to baseball. Lloyd Carr said, hey, We got two quarterbacks. We're going to let both guys battle it out. We're going to let both guys duke it out. And whoever the winner is will play the card how it lies. We all saw it happen. Tom Brady ended up becoming the guy and winning the job outright. Nick Saban saw the self-same thing in the 2011 season. He said, hey, we've got two quarterbacks. They're both good. They're both competitive. Neither likes to lose. Both guys want to be the starter. Let's have both of them play. Let's have them both play it out. Let's see what happens. And even with the vicious tornado that went through Tuscaloosa prior to the season starting and the city never being the same again, both guys battled throughout the spring, throughout the summer, throughout the fall. It was tight. It was neck and neck. Nick Saban didn't know where to call it, where it could go. You still have folks saying because Phillip Simms is mobile, because he can run, because he's dynamic with his legs, Phil is going to be the quarterback. Now, game one of the season, Alabama took on Kent State. Of course, I was there inside Bryant-Denny, Nick Saban's alma mater, and both quarterbacks struggled mightily. 4 interceptions combined between the two. They both had 2 each, but Alabama was able to win the game 48-7. A.J. McCarron's able to barely edge out Simms in the fact that he had the only touchdown pass in the game between the two quarterbacks. He had more passing yards than Simms, and he had a higher completion percentage than Simms. Now, Coach Saban was not fully sold on either guy, but going back to what happened in the 2010 year where McCarron stormed into Nick Saban's office and said, Coach, why you got me running third team? Why you got me running with the scrubs? I'm better than this guy, that guy, and the other guy. Coach Saban basically said, okay, you think you better than? You got all that mouth? Prove me that you better. Show me you better, young man. Show me. So Coach Saban pulls from that nugget that McCarron provided him in 2010, 2011, going back to a conversation I had to end last week's show. You got to give the quarterback a chance to fail. And Nick Saban gave A.J. that chance to fail against Penn State, the second game of the year, where you're going up to Happy Valley, crazy environment. Of course, Alabama was able to win that matchup 27-11. McCarron was able to balance the offense, have everything in order, and won that job, completing 19 of 31 passes for 1 touchdown. And just like Flavor Flav on that reality show, Flavor of Love, when he would tell the women, hey, shawty, I love you, but your time is up. Unfortunately for Phillip Simms, his time was up. He was able to play 8 games that season, was a part of a championship team, but never was able to pop the way people thought he would pop despite the conversation he got early on. So when you look at this situation with Bryce Young and Mac Jones, it's kind of the same ordeal where you have old school versus new school. New school is saying, we know Mac Jones has got the leadership. We know he's got the experience. We know he's got the arm talent. We know he's got the knowledge of the system. But can he do what Bryce can do? Can he extend the play? Can he wow us? Can he entertain us? Can he put points on the board? Because now offense is the big thing. Defense is a big deal. Defense is marquee, but offense is a bit more important now. Can Mac Jones put up the points? That's what new school is saying. Old school is saying Bryce Young can be a transcendent quarterback. He can be a big-time star. He can be a big-time factor. But can he handle the pressure of playing for Nick Saban? Nick Saban doesn't have a lot of friends. He can be a tyrant, if you will. He can be a disciplined disciple, if you will. And he craves excellence. He demands excellence in every sense of the word, even the very sweat that drips off your face. If that sweat ain't excellent, you and your sweat is going to hit the door. So Nick Saban wants excellence from every sense of the word. Difficult to play for him at times. So can Bryce Young handle that pressure? Can Young handle the pressure of playing on the road? He's going to go on the road. He's going to face some hostile environments, and he's going to be playing with a couple of young receivers also if they break into the rotation. Can he be the one to settle the troops down, to settle the group down and say, hey, I got y'all. I got this. Let's go out here. Let's make things pop. Let's make something happen. Last but not least, can Bryce Young handle the pressure of playing for a fan base that's got big expectations? When you do well, the fans let you hear it. But if you're struggling, the fans will let you know that as well. So can he handle the expectations of playing for Coach Saban? Can he handle playing on the road? Can he handle the expectations of the fan base? That's what the old school is saying in terms of Bryce Young. But this battle will go from spring down to the summer, down to fall, up to the start of the regular season. We will see how this thing plays out. But we take our first break here on In My Own Words, the podcast, hottest show on the streets for Alabama football news, notes, and information. Upon our return, we unwrap, we dive into your phone calls, text messages, tweets, thoughts, questions, and concerns after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Make sure to subscribe before it's too late and get our new freshly printed end of the year magazine issue. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
We're back inside the break on the hottest show on the streets, In My Own Words, with yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine on a Monday. Appreciate you guys for rocking and rolling here with us. As always, 205-448-1358. But I'm going to call in to let your voice be heard as it's your time, Bama Nation. 205-448-1358. You can even text with that number and leave a voicemail with that number. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube and turn on those notifications so that you can have the best in news, notes, and coverage on your Crimson Tide. But we take our first caller of the evening, my man Waylon. Waylon, it's Monday, brother. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, Stephen. How's everybody down at TDA on this Monday?
Man, we're doing fantastic, man. John had a great weekend. I had a great weekend. We're talking Alabama football, and we get a chance to talk with you, Waylon, so we're doing A-okay.
Yeah, well, talking to me is not a whole lot there, but I guess I don't know. That's better than talking to yourself maybe, but I'll say hello to Samuel and Willie and Kenneth out there. I like to say hello to all the people out there we love on TDA, and I don't have any doubt in my mind that Mr. Mac Jones will be the quarterback this year, but we've got to get to the point if we're going to have this season or not. That's the biggest worry in my mind, if we're going to be able to have a college football season. If we don't, it's going to be a terrible situation. But I see no reason why Mac Jones can't carry this team all the way to the big trophy, Stephen. What do you think?
I don't see an issue with Jones at all. And like I said, it goes back to as talented as Bryce Young is, and he will be incredibly gifted, incredibly special and marquee. But without a spring, not having a spring for him, and right now, of course, the deal is with the SEC and its presidents for all 14 schools is trying to come up with a way in voting to have everybody back on campus between either June the 1st or June the 15th. Now, we hope to have a summer practice. We are having high faith to have a summer practice, but let's say we don't. Let's play a hypothetical and say we don't. So now you would have a Bryce Young with no spring, a Bryce Young with no summer, and he's going to have to play some serious catch-up in terms of fall, and that's a lot to put on a freshman, especially when he already doesn't have that chemistry or that camaraderie with the players on that team, with the entire coaching staff. That's difficult to ask of one Bryce Young, where you have no spring, you may not have a summer, and you're expected to come in and be the starting quarterback. That's a hard pill to take, man.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, with no practice, you can't come out of high school. I mean, there's been some kids in the past that's done it, and there'll be some people in the future also that has that much talent to be able to just step out of the high school role and step right into a college, starting position at quarterback. You gotta dot your I's and cross your T's. But I don't know, Stephen. We'll just have to wait and see what the good Lord says. What happens. He'll work it out. There's no doubt about it. But I didn't do a poem for today. I want to try to get out of here and let some more people get in.
No, Waitr, no.
Well,
baby, no.
I have got one, but I had it set back for Wednesday. But I just, I want to see more people get in here on this phone line and light it up. I want to see that 100,000 subscriber silver trophy sitting there on your desk. That lets us know that we done that. All us Tide fans, as many of us as are out there now, we should blow this place off the map. That's the way we need to get out there and get you up on the pedestal. It's not my poems. I want to hear some more folks call in, but we'll have a goodie for Wednesday. How does that sound? Will that be all right with everybody? We'll just wait till Wednesday. Will that be good?
You know what, Waitr? We'll let you slide with that. You done pumped me up, so we'll let you slide with that.
Yeah, we want to get in there, but I will say one more thing. I want to remember I watched a game the other night, and I sent you the dues, but I remember the 1989 game with Alabama and Ole Miss. We were down 21-0. Alabama just boom, bang, bam, and the lightning struck, and a clap of thunder. We beat them 62-27. I remember, a lot of people in that game. Alabama and Ole Miss had a lot of tight games a long time ago. Ole Miss used to have some great football teams, and Kevin Turner. We want to remember Mr. Kevin Turner. He was on that team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, passed away with CTE, or they said it was ALS and then CTE. But and then Mr. Joe King, he was on the line. He passed away a tragic death in the nursing home. A young man like he was on the offensive line. So we want to remember those two Tide players today, and we'll get us a good poem for Thursday, and I'll get out of here. Hope everybody on the chat's doing well. And Stephen, it's good to talk to you. Keep John straight. I don't believe Willie is going to drive by today. He sounds pretty good. I'll catch you Wednesday, everybody. Y'all have a good week, okay? Bye-bye.
Appreciate it, Waitr. Appreciate Waitr there getting the call. I got to get my poem on Wednesday. Got to get that done. But we continue with the phone lines. You're live on In My Own Words. What's going on?
Hi, my name's Charlie, and I just want to say roll Tide. But what I think the biggest thing on this season is going to be with the quarterbacks is before this, AJ and everybody before him, they were game managers. And we had a transcendent quarterback with Tua throwing touchdowns after touchdowns. And, if you go back and look at Alabama football under all the other quarterbacks, we're always balanced. Same amount of runs, same amount of passes every game. We balance the game, but under Tua, we're used to letting it fly. So I think the biggest thing is going to have that Mac is going to have going on this year is that he's going to be compared to Tua. And I think that's going to be a big thing for the fan base to get over with is that, Tua's gone, and now we got Mac, who I feel will pull out the starting quarterback role unless we have another Tua moment. And, I'm really excited for the season, and I'm not sure if I'm happy, not saying I'm not happy, but I'm going to miss the touchdown passes and all that, and going back to a game manager position that we have with Mac Jones. Because I said that to my friends before when Mac Jones took over for Tua after he got hurt was, he's like AJ. He's a game manager, and true enough, I don't know if you agree with me or not. He's a game manager, and that's what we're going back to. But with a beast like Najee in the backfield, hey, we may now have another Heisman Trophy candidate on our hands. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, one of the reasons why Najee Harris came back, apart from his draft grade that he got in this venue, but Nick Saban sold Najee on the offense of him being the focal point of the offense, with Mac Jones being the quarterback. I don't see an issue having Jones run this team. I mean, yes, he manages the situations, he manages the game well, but Mac Jones has got a lively arm. He's highly competitive. He hates to lose. I think he's just as competitive, if not more competitive than Coach Saban. I mean, I go back to a story that Jared Maiden had told me, former Bama safety Jared Maiden, that, Nick Saban and Mac Jones talk trash to each other. And Nick Saban talks trash to Mac Jones. Jones throws it back at the head coach. So when you got a guy that can literally go toe-to-toe with Saban, that's kind of the guy you want to go to war with, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I'm hoping this year, one of the guys from my hometown, Alabama, Chadarius Townsend, hopefully we get to see a lot more of him this year, too, in the rotation with running backs. That's what I'm hoping for, too.
Now, Chad would not be in the rotation with the running backs. Chad Townsend will be in the rotation with the receivers. He'll be a slot receiver this year.
Oh, they're going to move him. They moved him back to slot.
They moved him back to slot receiver, so he would be behind Jalen Waddle and Slade Bolden. So they moved Chad Townsend to slot.
Yeah, I'm hopefully he gets some playing time here because he's one of the only guys from my school to ever go play for the Crimson Tide. So, a little bitty town, a little bitty stop sign in the middle of nowhere in North Alabama. So, but I'm really looking forward to the season. I'm looking forward to, having another quarterback like AJ or like Coker, because I was really impressed with Coker when he was battling with Sims. I thought the whole year that Coker was better than Sims, but that was just me at the time. I thought that Coker was better than Sims, arm wise and size wise, but not with the feet. Sims had the feet, and Jalen had feet, but that really was we got out of what Alabama football was with Tua, all throwing as much as we possibly could instead of running the ball. And now like Funny Man says, run the ball. That's what we look for in Alabama football. But I hope our fan base doesn't get upset that we don't have a quarterback that's throwing for 400 yards a game and 5 touchdowns, that we're, pound the ball, we'll score, and we'll go ahead and pick up this national championship this year.
Absolutely, my man. Well, we appreciate the call, man. Keep listening to us. Be good.
All right, have a good one. Thanks, man.
No problem there. So you guys lighting this up here on a Monday here on the show. And just a quick thought here before we take our next break here. Taulia Tagovailoa, he chose the University of Maryland as his transfer school, and Leah made the right move. I think Taulia really made the right move here. He goes to the Terrapins, he goes to the Big Ten, and Coach Mike Locksley, who did a great job with Tua in 2018 as the offensive coordinator for the Crimson Tide. That season, Tua threw for 3,966 passing yards, 43 touchdowns, 6 picks. He became the 4th 3,000-yard quarterback of the Nick Saban era. He was also a consensus All-American and a Heisman finalist. And all of this was done due to Coach Locks was able to craft a system, craft a way to really expose to a skill set out there even more, following what he did in the previous year, rescuing Alabama to a national championship in 2017. So after working with one Tagovailoa, Coach Lotz gets another one in the younger brother, Taulia. So, the Big Ten, watch out for Maryland in the years to come as Leah tries to create his own legacy outside of the Crimson Tide. But we take our next break here on the show. Continue to line us up in the chat line and the call-in queue on a Monday. Upon our return, we dive into Najee Harris and why this will be his year for potential Heisman and his year to prove he is no doubt a first-round pick after this.
If you want delicious home-style cooking, sushi, and hibachi, check out Otoro Hibachi in the University Mall in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. At home and you can't get away from the TV because the Crimson Tide is about to score? Don't worry, delivery is also available through Waitr and Crimson2go. That's Otoro Hibachi in the University Mall in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And make sure you let them know the good folks at Touchdown Alabama sent you. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Make sure to subscribe before it's too late and get our new freshly printed end of the year magazine issue. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
We're live here, back inside the action on the hottest show on the streets here in my own words with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Once again, folks, those phone lines open, 205-448-1358, 205-448-1358. Definitely want to hear from you as we talk more on your Alabama Crimson Tide. And we get into one, Najee Harris, running back Najee Harris. Could have went pro after the 2019 season, but decided, no, I want another year with Nick Saban. I want another year at the university. I want another year with my teammates. I want another year with these fans. And it is awesome to see him, pass up. As crazy as it was for him to pass up the NFL draft, what was awesome was, and I go back to something I recently mentioned here, Harris, from the LSU game, from the middle of the season through the end of that year, he turned it on. Like, we saw him as a guy that can catch the ball out the backfield, a guy that hurdled defenders, a guy that had a great stiff arm, a great spin move. He knew how to evade, avoid tacklers, be elusive. But the LSU game, throughout the season, we saw a power from Najee Harris. Once again, I don't know what Sean Alexander told him the week of the LSU game, but whatever Sweet Feet said, whatever Sean Alexander said, I need to get that right now, inject it into my vein. John, if you can find what Sean Alexander told Najee, could you please hold out my vein, JP, and get that injected inside my bloodstream? Because whatever Alexander said, it took roots due to, Harris went on a tear in the season with 1,224 rushing yards, 13 touchdowns, had 6 100-yard games, caught 27 passes, including 7 for touchdowns. But I remember a source a while back told me that Najee, Coach Saban, and Najee's mom were in a meeting room, and this was when Najee's draft grade had came back, and Harris looked at this draft grade. He was highly disappointed. He was highly bothered. He was very upset. His mom was upset. Harris really thought he worked his way into being, a first-round guy. He worked his way, into being a first-round guy. But according to the draft grade, he was looked at to be a day 2 guy, either a late second rounder, early third round guy. So Harris goes home to California for a while to be with the family. But before he went home, he spent a lot of time with Coach Saban and the staff. And the conversation was, Coach, what do I do? I want to go pro. I want to provide for my family. I want to provide for my mom. I thought I was going to be a late first round pick or early to mid first round pick. But, Coach, what do I do? And the coaching staff sold Najee on this, that they said, young man, if you come back, this is what I was told, if you come back, we're going to give you every opportunity to get your yards up, to get your touches up, to get your touchdowns up, to get your production up. Basically, if you come back, we're going to make you the focal point of the offense, and we're going to give you every opportunity to have a Heisman-like year, to have a Doak Walker-like year, to have a Maxwell Award-winning-like year, to really show NFL scouts once and for all that you are a bona fide, no doubt, first-round pick. They sold Harris on this. And once they sold him on that, he made the move that he was going to return to the Crimson Tide. Now, of course, he didn't make an announcement on social media about this, but it was firm in his mind that if Coach Saban, if Alabama is going to make me the focal point, the feature piece in this offense, I'm going to come back. That there's no way I want to pass this up to be able to run wild, to run free, to run over opposing defenses, not just in the SEC, but in college football in general. And unlike some 5 stars that have the talent, but no real true drive, true work ethic, Harris has the talent, but Harris also has the drive. He posted a video to social media this week or last week of him back home in California. Y'all look at this. This is a man that is doing He's jumping up in the air, crossing his feet in the air with a medicine ball. He is running on top of a treadmill. This is somebody that is adamant about being the best running back in college football. Jumping with a medicine ball. I would have probably broke my knee. I would have probably broke my knee. I would have probably busted my leg. I would have probably cracked my ankle. I would have probably face planted into the concrete, me trying to do this. I used to be an athlete, but I am not as athletic as Najee Harris, as he is working back home in California, trying to be the best running back in the country. And I understand college football returns Travis Etienne to Clemson. It returns Chuba Hubbard to Oklahoma State. But Najee, is somebody that, and if you remember this, after his freshman year, and he had a great freshman year in 2017, he played a huge role in helping Alabama win the national championship. 61 carries that season, 370 yards, if I'm not mistaken, and 2 touchdowns. But he had thoughts of transferring, much like a lot of 5-stars do at Alabama. Derrick Henry, at one point in time, had thoughts of transferring. But, Coach Saban sat him down, talked with him, talked with his family. Derrick Henry locked in, and Coach Saban gave him the opportunity to be the guy, to be the focal point, to be the bell cow, to be the beast, to be the monster. And we saw it happen once Henry locked in, once he bought into what Coach Saban was telling him. The 2015 season, first 2,000-yard back of the Saban era at Alabama, 28 touchdowns, won the Heisman Trophy, and is doing his thing in the NFL. So Najee Harris, the same deal. Came in highly touted, highly regarded as a 5-star Mr. Football in the state of California. His freshman year was a marquee contributor. Had doubts about, should I transfer? Because as much as I like Damian Harris, I think I'm better than Damian Harris. As much as I like Josh Jacobs, I think I'm better than Josh Jacobs. Definitely, when you look at 5-stars, they think that way because they've been given the ball in high school. It was give this guy the ball, make the beats, and get the heck out of the way. So that's what Najee was in high school. So when he got to college, he felt like, I'm the man. I'm the big guy on campus. So he had those thoughts of transferring, but, stayed on schedule, stayed on cue. Burton Burns, who was the running back coach at that time for Alabama, spent countless hours talking with Najee, speaking with Najee, trying to convince him that, hey, your time is coming. You are going to get your opportunity. You are going to have your moment. We know you a dog. We know you a beast. We know you that dude. We know you're special. But guess what? We're still going to fine-tune you. We're still going to coach you up. We're still going to work with you. We're still going to develop you. And when your moment comes, young man, and it's going to come, you're going to go out there and you are going to be special. You are going to be the focus. You are going to be ideal. And last year, we saw that happen, especially against LSU, against Auburn, against Michigan as well, and also Tennessee and Arkansas. Now, we saw that in flashes in the previous games. We saw it in flashes against Southern Mississippi. We saw it in flashes against South Carolina, but that middle portion of the season was where that young man really, really took off, and he honed in on, I can be more than just the hurdler, though I like hurdling. I can be more than just the stiff arm, though I like stiff arming. I can be more than just the spin move guy, though I like spin moving. I can really power through defensive linemen. I can power through linebackers. I can power through defensive backs. I can demonstrate, distribute, and display this brute strength and plow through opposing players and pick up extra yards. Alabama fans want to see, can we finally get a moment to where Harris does that? We like the spinning. We like the hurdling. We like the stiff arm. We like the extra things that he does. But will we ever get a moment where we see Najee plow through somebody, drag somebody for 3 and 4 and 5 extra yards? Can we see that out of this young man? And latter portion of a 2019 season, we were able to get a glimpse of that and seeing that. So this season, Harris is going to look to put on the finishing touches of not just being the best running back in college football, but showing every NFL scout, whether it's Bucky Brooks, whether it's Daniel Jeremiah, whether it's, guys like Mel Kiper Jr., Todd McShay, whomever is scouting him, whoever is looking at him, he's looking to show everybody, I am bar none bona fide a first-round pick, top 15 pick, top 20 pick in the 2021 draft venue. But we take another break here on the show, but still continue lighting this up in the phone line, lighting this up in the YouTube chat line. Upon our return, we unpack, we dive into more of your phone calls, tweets, questions, chats, texts, and concerns. We're talking Bama football, and we're talking it right after this.
T-Town Menswear in the University Mall in Tuscaloosa. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Make sure to subscribe before it's too late and get our new freshly printed end of the year magazine issue. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
All right, folks, Bama Nation, welcome back in from the break on the hottest show on the streets, the best form of that Crimson Tide football content in my own words with yours truly, your man, Stephen M. Smith. And as always, folks, 205-448-1358. Bama Nation, your time, 205-448-1358. That number once again, 205-448-1358. The opportunity to get your opinions across, to voice your thoughts on Crimson Tide football. Now is your time. As always, you can text with that number and also leave a voicemail with that number. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on the channel and turn on those notifications so that you can have all the updates and analysis alerts on your favorite football program. But check out this video here of Mac Jones and John Mechie as it's playing on screen right now. Mac Jones already's got the chemistry with Jalen Waddle. He's got the chemistry with Devontae Smith. But now he's looking to build chemistry with a third guy. And that third guy is John Mechie III out of Brampton, Canada at 6 feet, 195 pounds. Keep in mind, when he came in, that 2019 class, he and Calvin Ridley, same body type. They both have that same ability. They both have that same route running ability, same type of catching ability, catch radius. And with, of course, Mechie, when you talk to players about him, very explosive player, very explosive young man. Now, he started off wearing the number 3, reminiscent of Ridley, but he switched to number 8. And at first, the 2019 A-Day game is where both Jones and Mechie started the chemistry right there, as the young man had 5 receptions for 133 yards, was the MVP of the spring game. Of his 5 receptions, 3 of those came from Jones, including a 49-yard catch where he skied in the air despite being double-teamed by Daniel Wright and Eddie Smith. Mechie skied in the air like Jordan and plucked the ball out of the sky to the excitement of one Mac Jones. And already, building this chemistry or having this chemistry with Waddle and Devontae Smith, it is awesome seeing Jones wanting to, revisit the connection with Mechie and making sure that is all in pocket there. And what this also does is, could this make Mechie the number 3 wide receiver? Could it make Mechie the number 3 target? we all know what to expect from Waddle and Smitty. We've seen what these two are able to do. We've seen Smitty for 3 seasons. We know he's a great route runner. We know he's a clutch reception. We know he makes clutch catches. He makes clutch plays, 2 game-winning touchdown catches. We know he can be the featured guy. This past season, led the team 1,256 receiving yards and 14 touchdowns. We know what Devontae Smith can do. We know what Jalen Waddle can do as Mr. Everything. Kick returner, punt returner, wide receiver. Got to get his hands on the football every single time. But this is a good moment for a third guy. Third and a fourth guy. But right now, a third guy to emerge. And while I love me some Terrell Shaver, 6'6", you can't coach that size. Verified 4.38 40 speed at one of the high school, competitions. That type of speed is big time. But along with him, you got a Slade Bolden, you got a Xavier Williams, but you also have a John Mechie III. And Mechie's a guy, I've already said it. I know I took some heat from this from a lot of people in the athletics department, but you know what? Really don't care. I called him Calvin Ridley's Canadian son, Calvin Ridley's Canadian twin. And when you watch this guy play, you see why, I would refer to him as Ridley's Canadian twin. I mean, he in his 3 years, or in his 4-year career at St. James School in Maryland, Mechie totaled more than 1,300 rushing yards. He totaled more than 2,500 receiving yards, and he had 42 total scores. The young man was a late bloomer in the 2019 recruiting cycle. And you remember, Tide Nation, the last late bloomer that you had. The last late bloomer was Josh Jacobs. You remember when that happened? 2016, when everybody was sleeping on Josh Jacobs in that cycle, nobody was offering him, nobody was touching him with a 10-foot pole, nobody was going towards JJ. And Burton Burns said, Nick Saban, if you don't get your butt on this plane and see Josh Jacobs, I'm going to snatch a knot in you, man. And Burton Burns put Nick Saban on that plane, and they went to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they saw Jacobs, and they brought him to Alabama. The last late bloomer, he ended up being a first-round pick. That was Jacobs. So the man, John Mechie, a late bloomer in that 2019 class, but he's got a chance to be really, really, really good. And he's right now working with one Mac Jones, reviving that chemistry from the 2019 A-Day game. But we're going to take here another break on the show. Continue lighting us up in the chat line and the call-in queue. Upon our return, we get into one Christian Barmore. Can he have a Quinnen Williams type of season? We'll touch it up after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to STSfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to STSfootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month, or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Make sure to subscribe before it's too late and get our new freshly printed end of the year magazine issue. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
All right, folks, in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, rocking and rolling here on a Monday. Not on a Monday here on the program. Appreciate you guys for tuning in with us on the chat line and also in the call-in queue. But we get into the topic that everybody's excited about, Christian Barmore. You look at social media, you look at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, those things. They're looking at this young man and they're saying that he's got the potential, or she can definitely have a Quinnen Williams type of season in the upcoming year. And I share in that same sentiment for 3 reasons. Reason number 1 as to why I share the same sentiment as others on Barmore is the great ones are always co-signed. The great ones are always co-signed. You go back and you look at Derek Thomas, the great Derek Thomas. He was co-signed by Bill Curry. He was co-signed by Ray Perkins. He was co-signed by Sylvester Croom. And he was co-signed by one Cornelius Biscuit Bennett. Cornelius Bennett co-signed Derek Thomas, even though Bennett knew that DT was coming and he didn't like the fact that DT was coming and he didn't appreciate at times the fact that DT was coming. Cornelius Bennett knew, hey, this dude, Derek Thomas, yeah, he coming. So Derek Thomas, co-signed. When you look at Quinnen Williams, Q was co-signed. I remember Jonathan Allen, before he went drafted 2017 venue to the Washington Redskins. Prior to him getting drafted, one of his final interviews inside the Barmore complex, he was brought up the question about who is the next beast? Who is the next alpha personality? Who is the next dominant defensive lineman? Who's the next first-round pick on the rise that, we as reporters need to circle, highlight, underline, that type of thing? Jonathan Allen said, I'm going to tell you right now, watch Quinnen Williams. He's the next one. Telling you this right now. Everybody kind of looked at Allen and they went, psh, whatever, J.A., you just saying something. You just piping up the smoke. I mean, dude, tell us about Raekwon Davis, man. Raekwon is 6'7", 316 pounds. That's the man, right? Tell us about Raekwon Davis. Jonathan Allen's like, I'm not kidding with you. I'm not joking with you. It's going to be Quinnen Williams. And we all knew what happened. People thought Jonathan Allen was joking. Quinnen Williams, 2018 season, the guy was a wrecking ball. 71 tackles, 19 and a half tackles for loss, 8 sacks, 12 quarterback hurries, became a first-round pick, the number 3 overall pick to those New York Jets. And even one Tua Tagovailoa got co-signed by Trent Dilfer, and we've all have seen what happened with Tua. When you give yourself a nickname, it doesn't stick. It's when other people give you a nickname that it sticks. Case in point, I was 10 years old. I thought I was going to be a rapper. So I gave myself the nickname Dove7. Don't ask why I gave myself that nickname. I'm embarrassed at myself for even doing that to this day. But my sister, who was about 4 to 5 years older than me, when I was at that same age, 10 years old, she started to give everybody in the family country hillbilly names. She gave me the name Frank. And for 11 years, everybody in my family, from parents to grandparents to uncles, aunts, cousins, people in the community, church folks, they called me Frank from age 10 to age 20. It took me forever to shake that name because someone else gave me that name, and somehow that name found a way to stick. In terms of Barmore, he has been co-signed by Terrell Lewis, by Raekwon Davis, by Jalen Waddle, even by one Nick Saban, who mentioned how he sees Barmore as somebody that can really give Alabama a great inside interior pass rusher. And as we go back to look at the video here of Barmore at work, I mean, you can see the interior pass rusher that he is, going through footwork drills, going through change of direction, knocking even his own coach to the ground. This is a throwback defensive player. So the great ones are always co-signed. Christian Barmore's co-signed. Number 2, when you look at it, he's got a unquenchable, undying passion to want to be on the field and to want to be an impact player. When you watch Barmore play, though people compare him to Q, I look at him as a angry, violent, a bit more athletic A'Shawn Robinson. He's baby A'Shawn Robinson to me when I watch Barmore. And when you watch A'Shawn, He was jumping over offensive linemen. He was blocking field goals. He was blocking punts. He was stuffing running backs. He was getting at the quarterbacks. This was a guy that could swallow the podium in terms of press conferences. He was somebody that you were afraid of because this guy was a 19-year-old that looked like he was 40 years old with a full-on beard. And one of the reasons why, well, for Alabama fans, one of the reasons why the Crimson Tide has struggled the last 2 years defensively is we don't have a guy with the beard anymore. We're the guys with the facial hair and the full-grown beards that probably have some type of criminal record. Where are those guys at? The reason why the defense is having trouble, we don't have those guys. Give us those guys back. Well, Christian Barmore, to the happiness of you, the Alabama faithful, he does have a beard. He's got a goatee thing going on here. So he's got the beard, he's got the facial hair, he's got the toughness, he's got the tenacity, he's got the physicality, he's got that throwback player mentality where he is a hard-nosed competitor. He puts his hand in the dirt. He comes after running backs. He comes after quarterbacks. And when he is not on the field, and I've mentioned this before, it bothers him. And those are the type of guys that you want to see on the field. When you're not on the field, it bothers you. When Michael Jordan, going back to The Last Dance, when Michael Jordan was not on the court, it bothered him. When Scottie Pippen was not on the court, it bothered him. When Steve Kerr, even though he got punched in the eye by MJ, when Steve Kerr was not on the court, it bothered him. When Phil Jackson was not coaching that team to championships, it bothered him. So, and then even when you look at Coach Saban, when Coach Saban is not winning, it bothers him. So when Christian Barmore was not on the field this past season, you saw how antsy he was. You saw how frustrated he was. You saw how really upset he was, how bothered he was because he wanted to be on the field making plays in more action and more opportunities. But in the limited time that he got, you saw that type of production. So he's got he's been co-signed, number one. Number two, he's got this undying passion, this undying determination, this undying motor to want to be on the field, much like A'Shawn Robinson had. And then number three, all Barmore needs is 1 year, right? All he needs is 1 year to make something shake. Quentin Williams needed 1 year. He needed 1 year to show NFL scouts, hey, I'm the best player in this draft. I'm the number one player in this draft. If you don't draft me, then you are making a terrible mistake. All Q Williams needed was 1 year to get that done. And we saw, especially in the matchup 2018 against LSU, where he completely just bench pressed the likes of Joe Burrow into the lap of his offensive line every single time. I mean, it was that game where NFL scouts going, who the heck is that, continuing to just bully LSU's offensive line and just make Joe Burrow look like a rag doll right there. And it was Quentin Williams every single time. It was that game. And there were other games down the pipeline in which he did that, but the game against the Tigers was the most noted matchup. So all Q needed was 1 year. All Christian Barmore needs, for real, is 1 year. And I know what you're thinking, Tide Nation. Steven, don't put him out the door. He's just a baby. We want to keep him here for as long as we can. But y'all, when y'all see a young man as dominant, as potent, as aggressive, as mean, as physical, as playmaking as this young man is, the NFL is going to look and say, woo, goody, goody, goody. Here comes the next first rounder. Here comes the next top 10. Here comes the next top 15. Here comes the next top 20. These scouts are going to be salivating over this man. They're going to be salivating, if they're not already salivating over him already. I mean, people, the work ethic that Barmore has in these videos, he's not just wanting to be the best, he is putting in the work. Barmore has not stopped training with his coaches back home in Philly since the Citrus Bowl. That's determination. I mean, the coronavirus has me wearing masks everywhere. The coronavirus has me in full-on social distancing. The coronavirus has me, praying for, are we going to get that extra stimulus check? But for Christian Barmore, that thing has had no effect on that young man. He is out there flipping tires and knocking over coaches and running through cones and running through stationary drills and just doing everything possible to assure that he is the number one leader or one of the major leaders of this defense in the upcoming season. So while people are saying he can have or he will have a Quentin Williams type year, I definitely see it because co-signed, got the passion, and the young man, all he needs is 1 year to get this done. But you want the best, Tide Nation, and news, notes, information on your Crimson Tide. It is simple for you to get this done. You download the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You get this from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, the Google Play Store if you just so happen to have the Android phone. Those podcast options, we got you covered. iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll be back on Wednesday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. But until next time, folks, husbands love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children find those ways legitimately to not be bored. Make sure you're getting those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. Until, protect yourself, protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, spinning my own words.